Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Ebony K. Williams, here this morning with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning, Ebony. How are you today?
I'm lovely.
This is Shannon K. Sharpe.
And this is Skip K, Bayless.
I
like that ring.
No, I don't have a middle name.
Oh, I was
Or
like, that'd be
initials.
really cool.
No.
I need one.
Do you have a middle name?
No.
I don't either.
I don't either.
My sister got the middle name. Me and my brother.
I was going to say, maybe it's a guy-gal thing.
Well, maybe. I don't think so.
How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. I am wonderful wearing this mellow yellow. I wanted to coordinate.
Yeah.
I wanted to coordinate with the Undisputed set.
So, Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
Oh,
I got a little surprise for you later in the show. That's all I'm going to say.
You got a surprise for you?
Just a little one. Just a little one.
All right, we'll get to that. But first, we're going to discuss Jameis Winston's suspension coming up later in the show, but we're going to start with LeBron. Now, he can opt out of his current deal next week and sign with a new team on July 1st. But Cavs GM Kobe Altman said yesterday, quote, "We continue to have good dialogue with his management team." Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard's potential trade status could affect LeBron's decision. Yesterday, Spurs GM R.C. Buford said they'll explore all options with Kawhi, but they want to keep it. Last night, the Cavs selected Colin Sexton with their first-round pick, and he wasted no time sending a message straight to LeBron. Take a listen.
LeBron, let's do it. Let's do it. I see you need a few pieces, that one extra piece this past season. Hey, let's do it. Let's go back to the finals. Let's do it.
All right, Shannon Sharpe, does that encouragement there do anything for LeBron's chances of staying with Cleveland?
As soon as Mike Silver said that with the 8th pick in the draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select, LeBron turned the TV down. So that made, because
He turned the TV
Yeah,
down? How do you know these
he
things?
was expecting Adam Silver to say with the 8th pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers have traded that pick. And so once he said they're going to select,
He
LeBron
didn't care?
said,
I'm out?
No. Skip, this is going to not have any impact because this is what we know about LeBron James. He loves playing with veteran, smart players who understand situational basketball. Now, this is what we know. There's a reason why when he came back, they had just won the rights to Andrew Wiggins. Everybody's like, man, Andrew Wiggins, he's athletic, he'll be great compliment for LeBron. LeBron said, nah, y'all need to get him up out of there, get me Kevin Love.
That's true.
So if he didn't want the number 1 overall draft pick,
Yep.
you think he wants to play with? No. So I don't believe this is going to have an impact. And I think Colin Sexton, he said it like half-heartedly, knowing he's not going to.
He was actually asked to make a plea.
Exactly.
So I don't think he's that kind of kid.
Exactly.
He was just sort of playing.
Come
to
on,
the
LeBron.
cameras.
Come on. I see you need a few pieces.
Yeah.
I
Let's do it.
I don't know if you that piece that he needs, bro. Like you not the piece. I need Kawhi or Paul George or Anthony Davis. So Skip, with that being said, I do not believe them taking Colin Sexton with the 8th pick in the draft. I don't believe it'll have any impact. I believe LeBron James is going to opt out of that contract, and he will take his time. What's going to happen with Kawhi? What's going to happen with Paul George? He'll survey the landscape and see if he can get someone to come to Cleveland, or does he need to go link with someone in L.A.? Because, like I said, all things being equal, I believe LeBron James' preference would be to stay in Cleveland. He's in the Eastern Conference. He's very comfortable there, Skip. But if Dan Gilbert can't get him some pieces, he's taking that team, what he's on currently, that's as far as he can take it, Skip. So it's time for him to move on. So with that being said, I don't think Colin Sexton has any impact on what LeBron James is or isn't going to do.
By the way, just to your last point, as far as he could take it was back to the NBA Finals for an 8th straight time, right?
Yeah.
So let's just do a quick hypothetical. Let's say that he opts in and stays home and says, I'm just going to finish it out. All my NBA days are going to be back home in Akron/Cleveland. With the current roster, adding Colin Sexton, and by the way, if you don't know Colin Sexton, he's a mentally tough, highly competitive, smart kid, but he is a kid.
Right.
He's your basic 19-year-old. He is extremely raw, but extremely coachable under Avery down in Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
And obviously, he would want to learn quickly, but could he help LeBron next year? Probably not.
Right.
But remember, that roster of all those new players that you applauded at the trade deadline did get a whole year of seasoning through this playoff run. And I think they all grew in various ways. I think that next year Rodney Hood will be better and Jordan Clarkson will be better.
He was unrestricted free agent, Skip.
Well, you can bring him back.
No, we're going to explode. We're going to see what's
Oh, you're going to see what else.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you love this group when it first got thrown together.
Yes.
Am I right?
Because I believe this group that they were putting together was better than the group they was going to be jettisoned. I don't think they get, Skip, they're not making the NBA Finals with Dre Crowder, with Isaiah Thomas, a banged up Isaiah Thomas, who was a shell of himself.
But if you mix and match with these same veterans, you keep Larry Nance, I don't know what you want to do with George Hill, but you throw Colin Sexton at least into the rotation, I promise you, going into next year, if LeBron stays, this team will still be favored to win the East. Want to bet?
The Celtics.
No, I will bet you this team will still be favored because of the guy you tell me is the best player, not only on the planet right now, but in the history of the planet, right? Okay, if you have that guy, you're still going to be favored. So don't discount what is still sitting there in Cleveland, because I'm going to remind you one more time, they had Golden State on the ropes in Game 1 at Oakland. Am I right? They let them off the hook for all the reasons we detailed. Some are JR's fault, some are George Hill's fault, and some in the end were LeBron's fault. Everybody collaborated on a collapse. And my point is, you had them. And if you win that game, we might be having a very different conversation. If you win Game 3 in Cleveland, the turning point game, you're down 0-2, but if you win that and you get it back to 2-1 with Game 4 in Cleveland, we could be having a different conversation. And you were up 1 point with 3 minutes left, and Kevin Durant said, no, I'm the best player on the planet tonight in this building. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just trying to keep you in perspective. It's still not all bad in Cleveland.
But here's the thing, Skip. LeBron James is uninterested in just getting to the finals. He's been to the finals 8 straight times.
Okay. Now, I'm with you. So let's go big picture off what happened last night. I'm going to say it one more time. There's only one home run game over move to be made for LeBron James right now, and that is to convince Kevin Durant, who is an unrestricted free agent, to leave Golden State and join LeBron in Los Angeles with the Lakers. That's the only game over move he can make, because the rest of the Laker moves look murkier by the hour. Because all of a sudden, my Spurs, a very proud outfit, I think the classiest outfit in all of sports, they finally just had enough of Kawhi's public ultimatums. And they basically told the Lakers, we don't even want to hear what your offer is right now, right? They just dug in and said, no, we're not going to let Kawhi Leonard and his uncle push us around publicly. They're not going to be able to pressure us into some sort of fire sale trade to the Los Angeles Lakers at the deadline of the draft. So R.C. Buford, who's the best GM in basketball, he just sat back yesterday and said, you know what? We're good right now. Guess who their property is? They got Kawhi for a whole nother year, right? They got him under contract.
Well, Skip, if you believe he shut it down on you last year, and there was nothing wrong with him, what's going to make him play for you this year?
Okay, maybe they're shutting it down on Kawhi right now. Maybe they're just saying, we're going to take our pound of flesh back. We're not going to just give him away to the Lakers or anybody else. Let's make everyone sweat and wait for a while, and let's see if somebody will really come to the table.
But here's the thing. The problem with that, if San Antonio is doing what you're saying, say we're going to take our pound of flesh.
Remember, they could go all the way to the next trade deadline February, whenever it is.
But by doing that, it's almost like you're drinking poison and you expect the other person to die. Skip, you can't win this battle. He's made it abundantly clear with you. I want to be elsewhere. He's made it, and if by all indications what's being reported is true, he's saying in 2019, I'm playing in LA. Now, you can be stubborn and say, you're not going to boss us around. But in 2019, he walks, you get nothing. So something is better than nothing. You're probably going to get a lot closer to nothing than something, but it's better than nothing. Ask OKC, had they known Kevin Durant was going to leave, would they have traded him? Absolutely, because you want to get something in the end.
Okay. So, did you notice very quietly what the Philadelphia 76ers did to your question and point? Yeah. Did you see what they did last night?
They backed up a little bit, cleared a little bit more cap space.
And not only that, but they got a draft pick that is very, very valuable. And they shocked me because I'm a big fan of Mikal Bridges because he can play. Yeah. He's a good, tough-minded, hard-nosed Philadelphia Villanova product basketball player whose mother works for the Sixers. And it was the feel-good story of the night when they took him and he did his whole media session as if he were a Sixer. He's got a locker in the locker room already. Yeah. He is a favorite of Brett Brown, the coach. He's been around the team all year. It was made in heaven fit. And all of a sudden, they jerked the rug out from under him because they got a pick from Phoenix it's Miami's original pick.
Yeah.
And it's not until 2021, but it is a first-round unprotected draft pick. So now they got the Kings' unprotected pick next year, and in 2 more years, they got the Heat's, including their picks. So they have a stockpile of draft picks. And you know what? Brett Brown made it clear after the trade was made. We're loading up to go fishing here. To go big game hunting.
Yeah, that's what you need.
All right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, to go big deep sea fishing,
okay.
you got to get big lures. You got to get big bait.
So guess what? They will have a much easier connection with the Spurs because obviously Brett Brown came up under Greg Popovich, and they're all very close, and they have feel goodness between them. So do not underestimate the potential for a trade being made for Kawhi if the Spurs want to sort of start over and just completely rebuild or reload on the fly with a bunch of new draft picks. This would be the move that would send Kawhi to the Sixers, and they have still opened enough cap space. So they're going to have to renounce J.J. Redick probably.
Really, they'll renounce him.
Okay.
They'll forget it was even ever in Philly.
Okay, but you still got those 2 nuclear weapons in the post, and you still have Sarge, who's a really good, young, nice player. And would LeBron then say, that would be my fit to stay in the East, and all of a sudden that would be nuclear armament in Philly?
Yeah, that would be great. My only concern, Skip, is that what happens with Simmons? Is he going to turn? Skip, he's not a jump shooter. He's not a catch and shoot. As a matter of fact, I don't even call what he does shooting, because basically if it's not inside the paint, he ain't taking it. So it's all floaters, dunks, left, right. That's what it is, Skip. He doesn't even attempt a shot outside the paint.
Okay, so what does it matter? Sarge can shoot. If you keep Bellinelli, he can shoot.
Skip, you can't play 4-on-5. At some point in time, the dude's going to have to make a jump shot. And then what happens when they go to hack a bin?
He is 7 feet tall, and he will defend. So do not. But by the end of the year, I told you, I thought that was the best defensive team in basketball because Embiid is a flat-out monster on both ends of the floor.
You got Covington.
So all I know about that kid you're talking about, Ben Simmons, is that he's a basketball player, and he is unselfish, probably to a fault because he's not much of a shooter.
Right.
But he will blend in perfectly with LeBron just because he knows how to play basketball, and LeBron would trust him, and he's obviously a client of LeBron's. So it would fit. It would work. They would win the East, if especially if you got Kawhi and LeBron. It would be over, man.
No question.
Okay.
Well, actually, Skip, he's a client of Clutch. Rich Paul is the CEO of Clutch Sports. So
I think LeBron is
no,
the
actually he's not.
CEO.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, LeBron is a client.
Yeah, and I have renamed it Unclutch Sports.
No, don't do that.
By the
Don't
way.
do that, Skip.
Just for the record.
The fact of the matter is that LeBron is like, I'm tired of just getting to the finals, and I'm tired of losing to one team. Skip, it'd be one thing if, he lost to the Rockets this year, or he lost to another, San Antonio. He's like, okay, Skip, he's 1-3 against the same team. So he has to find a way to gear up to take down this team. That's it. How do we do it? Now, I agree with you. If he could somehow convince KD to join him in L.A., game over. But I say that's like pie in the sky. That's like a 1.2% chance.
Kevin is unrestricted right now. No strings attached.
Well,
and if LeBron opted out, you'd have 2 unrestricted's that could go to L.A.
If I could get an opportunity to talk to KD one-on-one, I would like, KD, you heard what Bob Myers said. Yeah. He had a little something in it, but he was speaking truth. That's that truth serum.
Kevin heard. He hears everything. He takes it right to heart.
He say, Steph Curry deserved his money.
I know.
Like you don't deserve what you've been getting after you done delivered them the last 2 finals. Hey, come on with LeBron. You need some appreciation. You need to play for someone that appreciates you for you and your expertise. Because remember when you guys were struggling, they said it was you because you were playing too much ISO ball. Because when things go wrong, they blame you, KD. You need to go somewhere where people are not going to blame you when things go wrong. Because when things go wrong and you're on a team with LeBron James, we know who get blamed. So come on.
Pitch, preach.
Come on,
pitch
KD.
And preach. You're right.
This is an opportunity.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you're going to get us 3 more rings.
Yeah.
I'll go on out of here, be the GOAT, and I'll let you go ahead and take it over from here.
So LeBron has 2 houses in L.A. Kevin Durant has 2 houses in L.A. That somehow makes sense to me, right?
Man, Skip.
And all of a sudden, you weaken the champions, and you suddenly strengthen the Lakers, and you make them the favorites.
They'll still be formidable because let's not forget. Now, Golden State won 73 games without KD. They won a championship without KD. Steph was a 2-time MVP without them, so they'll still be formidable. But they're not beating the Lakers if KD and LeBron Houston's not beating them if KD and LeBron's on the same team. That's not going to happen.
Well, that's the only way that it looks great for me for the Lakers, because the rest of it looks murkier for the Lakers. Because all of a sudden, I'm not so sure about Kawhi getting to the Lakers.
Not in 2018.
I'm with you. And I was surprised last night. I thought they might trade out of the first round just to save a little more cap room. And they sat right there, 25, and took Mo Wagner out of Michigan.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to pay him that slot. Right?
Yeah.
So they look like they're covering their base just in case.
Well, here's the thing, though, Skip. Magic has got to get he's got to get LeBron, Paul George, or Kawhi. He's got to get one of those, Skip. You got all that cap space. You're gonna have you can sign 2, and you get none.
Okay. The problem is the 2 are going to have to be together. And they're going to have to conspire to get to LA.
Yeah,
right.
Players
So
can conspire.
you sure Paul George wants to go? He didn't want to go there by himself.
No.
Right?
No. I mean, why would he want to go there by himself and lose $30 million? Because he'll be no closer to winning a championship in the Lakers and LA as he would in OKC.
You think LeBron wants to go by himself to LA?
No,
he does
no,
not.
no.
Where would that get him? He'd be
nowhere.
better off staying in Cleveland.
He absolutely would be better off staying in Cleveland.
Okay.
But Skip, this is what we know. We just know that the way the Cleveland Cavaliers are constructed right now, they're not. I don't believe they can get back out of the East. If Boston's healthy with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, I don't believe they can beat them this year. I don't believe it, Skip. Not with that roster, Skip. Not with that roster. No, you can't.
I thought you loved LeBron James.
I do.
Thought you said he was the best player on the planet.
Best player
Are you
versus
starting to
best
have
team.
doubts? Well, it's the only 5 can play at once, and when you have that guy, it's over, man.
Let me ask you a question. Who's the best player? Tom Brady. He lost to what? The better team. That's what happens.
How many get to play in football at one time?
11, 22.
you.
Well,
22.
But here's the thing, Skip. One player today in today's games, the talent is so. Now, granted, you have the superstars, stars, and then you have good players. But Skip, when you got what they have on that roster, do you see KD? KD is a superstar. Steph Curry is a superstar.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson is a star. Draymond is a star. Think about it. You got 33% of the Western Conference All-Stars came from one team. One. And you're asking LeBron, although Skip, think about it. He was 6 rebounds away from averaging another triple-double. So think about it. He's taking one game of this team in 2 years, and he's 6 rebounds from back-to-back triple-doubles.
Who was the NBA Finals MVP back-to-back years?
KD.
Thank you.
And
Who's the difference maker for Golden State? KD.
But if you think about it, Skip, that was still a 1-2-point game. Look what happens when Steph Curry goes bonkers. Game 4, they win by 20. He goes for 37. In Game 2, they win by 20. He goes for 33. KD is the best player on that team. There's no question about it. But if you want to see Golden State...
Who was the best player on a Golden State team that blew a 3-1 lead to your guys? Who's the best player?
Steph. Yeah.
Where was he in those games? Where was he in 5, 6, 7? Where was he?
Skip.
Help me out. Because I couldn't see him.
Skip, so it happens. There have been times that Michael Jordan has been the best player, and he's come up small.
Not very often.
No.
Once he broke through. It was over.
No, in '89, he came up small. You remember the NBA Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit? Came up small. Skip, it happens. I don't want you to paint the picture that Michael Jordan never came up small, because it's happened.
Yeah, but once he broke through, he never came up small.
Okay,
they won 6 straight.
What happened in '95?
Well, he was gone.
He came back.
Huh?
You remember
he only played part of the year.
You remember when Nick Anderson stole the ball from him?
He'd barely come back.
Okay.
How many games did he play? Like what?
Well, was he out there? Was that Michael Jordan out there?
No.
Okay. All I know is he had Bulls across the front. He had Jordan on the back in 23. He had 45 then when he came back. He had 45.
All I know is he played in 6 finals, and he won all 6 of them?
Yeah.
Won them all.
Really?
But Skip, but there have been games in which he didn't play particularly well that his role players played extremely well and was able to deliver him. Game 6 against Seattle. They won that game, but he didn't play well. You know that.
Yeah, but you know you have him on your side. That's why you rise and shine.
Well, damn, why Cavaliers players can't do that? You know you got him on your side. Rise and shine.
We have talked about this many times. Kobe Bryant called him out, saying you have to nurture your role players. They have to trust you. They have to believe that you really believe in them, and they don't believe he believes in them.
JR, go check your bank account. Tristan Thompson, go check your bank account. Kyle Korver, go check your bank account. and see how much he believes in you. Because you got that money because of him. Nobody else was going to give Tristan Thompson that money. Nobody else was going to give J.R. Smith that money. Come on, Skip, you know that.
How much did they believe in him when he was melting down on the bench ahead of overtime in game 1?
Hell, had he not been spectacular, they're not even in that situation. You do realize that, right, Skip?
Yeah, but then what happened?
Skip, they lost. That's what happened. You know, it's okay if your teammates assist you in winning the game. Like, it's okay if JR make a basket. It's okay if Kevin Love, Tristan makes a basket in overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Well, they did in that game. They were all playing really well. They had them on the ropes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, fellas, we're going to leave it there for now. Jameis Winston, he's about to be suspended for the start of the NFL season. We're going to discuss it next.
No mercy. Hey guys, Joy Taylor here. Before the show moves along, I wanted to tell you that support for the Undisputed podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. They understand that home plays a big role in your life and family. That's why they created Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, with Rocket Mortgage, you get a transparent online process that gives you the confidence to make an informed decision. It's convenient. Our trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. And in addition to getting a real mortgage approval in minutes, you can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you're getting the right solution for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/undisputed. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. No mercy.
Jameis Winston will reportedly be suspended for the first 3 games of the NFL season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Winston allegedly groped a female Uber driver back in 2016. Now, he's denied the accusation, and he can appeal it when the suspension becomes official. Shannon, what is your reaction?
I'm disappointed, Skip. Not only am I disappointed, it's sad. I'm disappointed that Jameis Winston would allow himself to be in this situation again. Considering just 4 years ago at Florida State, he could have lost a lot more than his eligibility. He could have lost his freedom. So, okay, you get a reprieve. The prosecutor says there's not enough evidence. There's he say, she said. Okay, boom.
No charges.
No
filed.
charges.
Yep. Civil suit.
Civil
she filed, and they settled.
They settled.
Yep.
So you think, you boy, whoo.
Yep.
God, you got me out of this situation. I promise you, and a few more gods just like you. I'll never put myself back in that position. And here we are. 2 years later, Skip. You know, Skip, when this happened, and then all of a sudden you had the situation where him taking the crab legs at the supermarket.
There were a whole bunch of those situations, but go ahead.
And a lot of people was trying to make a jump between alleged sexual assault and stealing crab legs. And I'm like, nah, bro, I can't get there now. I'm not saying he did or he didn't do, but I can't get from assault to stealing crab legs.
I'm with you, but there were other incidents, just real quick.
With the BB gun.
The BB gun,
stealing
they did $4,200 worth of damage to the apartment building with BB guns, and then he allegedly stole soda from the Burger King.
Correct.
So it's just one thing after, and remember, he stood on the table in the student union and yelled the sexually explicit internet meme, remember that?
Yes.
And he got suspended for a half for that, and then he allegedly, according to the committee, lied to the school committee, and they said, well, then you're gone for a whole game. So those are 4 incidents while he was still a student at Florida State that were not involving with the sexual assault. Yeah.
And then you get back to this.
Yeah.
You allowed yourself to be even the allegation would again arise. Skip, let me tell you something, and here's the personal conduct. It says violations involving assault, battery, domestic violence, sexual assault will result in a baseline 6-game suspension without pay. If more aggravating factors are present, such as use of a weapon or crime against a child, it moves upwards. Okay. So if the baseline is 6, how do we get to 3?
You got me. That's my number one question about this whole incident. I don't know.
Skip, I'm speaking from experience. A very similar situation happened to me in 2010. someone accused me of something. I said, God, if you get me out of this situation, I promise you I'll never, ever put myself in that situation again. I refuse to that very day. Since 2010, Skip Bayless, I have never, ever ridden the elevator with a single female.
Okay.
When servers come to bring my hotel room, it is a female. I stop her at the door, I take the plate and bring it inside.
Yep.
Never, ever am I putting myself in that situation again.
Okay.
Jameis, why? How would you do that? Bro, do you realize how big of a break you got at Florida State? Okay, he said, she said. But I tell you what, there'll never be another chance where it can be she said, he said. Bro, you do something like this, man. Come on, Jameis.
Okay, just for the record, just to be fair, Jameis's side of the he said, she said in this case is that he says he was in the back seat with his former FSU teammate Ronald Darby, and that some unidentified friend of theirs was in the front seat next to her and groped her. Ronald Darby has seconded that. He has validated that and defended Jameis and said, yes, we were in the back seat. So we have several he's versus she said.
Well, who's that person in the front seat?
We don't know.
Y'all need to get him to come forward.
We need to, and unfortunately, they were going through a drive-through at a fast food Mexican place, and so there's no video of it. So we're back to what does all this mean? And by the way, Adam Schefter reported that a month ago, multiple sources told him they did not expect Winston to be disciplined over this Uber incident in Arizona. So what changed? Well, it sounds to me like, once again, the NFL has created a bad look to avoid a bad look.
Right.
Because this was starting to shape up as a bad look because of all of Jameis's past. It started to look like, we need to suspend, we need to punish him just to show that we did something to a guy who has a track record.
Hell, I forgot about it, Skip. They brought it back up. I had forgot about this incident.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of people hadn't forgotten about it. So all of a sudden, we're right back to where we were with the Ezekiel Elliott case.
Right.
And I'm going to remind everyone, Kia Roberts was then the director of investigations for the National Football League.
Right.
She has a background similar to yours. And Kia Roberts was the only member of the NFL front office who interviewed Ezekiel Elliott's accuser multiple times.
Correct.
She was the only one to interview her at all.
Right.
And she recommended no suspension. Then, obviously, she even chose to testify at his appeals hearing.
Right.
I recommended no suspension. They suspended him for the baseline 6 games.
Right.
Lisa Friel was her boss, and then obviously Roger Goodell is above Lisa Friel,
Right.
and they opted to go in a different direction.
Correct.
Kia Roberts is no longer with the NFL, no surprise to me.
No surprise.
Yeah, okay. So, again, that was a he said, she said, but the baseline is 6 games. And I kept saying, you can't appeal that. You can't have a degree of domestic violence.
No.
It's either 6 games or, to me,
It's 6 or nothing.
I kept saying last year, and I'm a Cowboy fan, but if you can show me and prove to me conclusively that Ezekiel Elliott hit that woman, he should be gone for at least a year.
Right.
Okay? So, again, 6 games is 6 games, but now we have a degree of sexual assault that's only 3 games. I don't know how it's all for appearances, like, we have to do something, right? We got to show that we did something here because Jameis has baggage, right? Is that how you see it?
100%, Skip. So here's the thing, right? There's the court of law. It's got rules of evidence around it, real high burdens of proof. Then you've got the court of public opinion, what it looks like.
Right.
Then there's this third bucket, which you're really alluding to right now, Skip, which is NFL policy. And that's a whole nother can of worms. When I look at this, y'all, a court of law, it fails to meet the standard. That's why there's no conviction. That's probably why Kia Roberts recommended no suspension,
Right.
because the evidence was thin, the story of the complainant was inconsistent. Let's
That's
fast
correct.
forward to the current case in this Uber situation. This alleged victim did not file a police report, complained to Uber,
Yes.
didn't file a report. Why the 3-game suspension, y'all? It's what we call kind of a compromise in the law. That's what it
Right.
is. When they're short of the factual evidence to get to this conclusion that this man and most Americans would require for a 6 game suspension or a year suspension, proof beyond a reasonable doubt, something conclusive. I fully believe this person did what they were accused of. When you're short of that, y'all, you start compromising.
Right.
That's what I see here. I see an NFL policy that's not real clear about what its real intention is. Are you punishing behavior that's been proven, or are you punishing based on public opinion, perception of the league, and who makes up the league? That's what I see here. I really see the NFL making a bad situation worse. I agree with you there, Skip, because listen, we don't know whether or not Jameis did this or not.
Yeah.
What we do know is that the evidence is not overwhelming to get to a point of legal conclusion, but the NFL feels the need to do something, thus the 3-game suspension. Y'all, I feel that this policy that you read, Shannon, is going to get the NFL in a bad situation. I think they've got to get clarity around the threshold of proof required before they take action against their players.
Well, see, what happened is that what the NFL was doing, they were sitting back and letting the courts do its due diligence. And whatever happens,
React,
the court, right. Okay, the court says, okay, nothing here. Fans were in an uproar.
Sure.
You're the NFL. You don't have to listen to the courts. Okay, so now they say, Commissioner Goodell says, we got a new policy. We will do our own due diligence, and regardless of whatever the courts find, we can assess our own punishment. Well, that's not right. Well, so now what do we do, Skip? If the court says nothing happens, you don't have to listen to the court, do something. If the court says something happens, what?
But shouldn't they listen to themselves, though, Shannon? When you've got your own investigator who's doing the interviews that should be giving you the kind of conclusionary evidence you need to make a decision. I get that. I'm good with that. But then when you don't listen to your own investigative arm, it becomes a muddier issue.
We know that the NFL is reactionary, Skip. This is why they came up with these policies. With the Ray Rice and the Adrian Peterson situation and the Hardys, they had no policy in place.
Nope.
So this is what you get. But the fact of the matter is, and I agree, we don't know, but I'm saying, Jameis, you know who you are. Your friends know what you've been allegedly accused of. So everybody got to keep their hands in their laps, so make sure don't nobody know who did what.
I agree.
Come on, man.
Yep. And by the way, I should have said this before I handed the ball to you, but Ebony, for those who don't know, has a law degree and served as a public defender, so she knows the score.
I do. And you know what I would tell my clients, Skip, to that point? It's what you said, Shannon, what you experience. There's what you do, there's what you don't do, there's what you do to make sure it doesn't look like you did anything.
Exactly.
And it adds value. And I understand that doesn't seem fair, right?
No.
Our sense of fairness doesn't feel like people should be accountable for what it looks like, but the reality is you are. And when you've got in his case and Winston's case here a couple of different elements that are reoccurring, that court of opinion starts to be really swayed.
Why do similar incidences follows this guy, Skip? Of all the things, now think about it. People are going to say, well, hold on. Something like that happened over here. Something like that happened over there. Something like that. Okay, there's 3 somethings, but there's one common denominator in all those somethings.
And I hate to bring this up because I just hate to pile on, but back in February 2017, we did a topic on it right here on Undisputed. Remember, Jameis spoke at the elementary school?
Right.
And he said to the boys, he said, you're supposed to be strong and the ladies are supposed to be silent, polite, and gentle. And it did not sit well with a whole lot of people. It was just another bad look. The NFL is about image, is reality.
Correct.
It's everything to the NFL. So image is wrong in their eyes to the point they feel like they have to do something to punish. Even though I don't know what happened in that car.
Right.
You don't know?
No.
None of us do.
Really, in the end, only 2 people probably really know what happened in that car. So I don't know. Was he wrongfully accused? I have no idea. But it looks bad. To your point, you just can't even remotely put yourself in position to be wrongfully accused, right?
Nope, not going to happen.
And it's important to note, just real quick, Skip, in the court of law, what we do to prevent that kind of thing where what you did in the past might not make you guilty of what you're accused of today. We got all these evidence rules, right? And judges and juries decide what comes in and out. That ain't how it works in the NFL policy office, okay? All that bad accusation, it weighs against you.
Because you can go Google it.
Yeah.
Also, in 2014, he was accused. In 2016, so yeah, and evidence now that might taint the jury. That might taint the jury pool if they hear you done something very similar to that. But I just can't believe that Jameis would allow himself to be placed in a situation. Man, bro, God.
So on a personal account, I've always liked Jameis. I've always rooted for him. I tried to I'm not saying overlook, but to push aside all that happened at Florida State. I went ahead and campaigned for him to be the first overall pick. I thought he deserved to be. I think he can be a great leader of men on the football level. I think he's a big-time clutch player in moments. He tries to do a lot of things that get him in trouble. Tries to do too much. But there's so much of a preponderance of evidence against Jameis now. It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper to where I'm close to being out, where I'm starting to say, wait a second, I just can't defend him anymore.
And that's the standard that the NFL uses.
Yep.
Preponderance of the evidence.
Yep.
More probable than not.
Yep.
Not beyond a reasonable doubt, because that's what the court system actually used. But the NFL says if it's more probable than not that you did this.
Sure.
So, Jameis, you just put yourself in a bad situation. Now everybody's going to jump back to, you know what? I knew it. I knew he had did that in 2014, 20. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's what you get now.
That is correct.
The
That's what you
narrative
get.
is run away at this point, and it's ultra negative. But I do think the league's got to get clear with itself,
right.
because that 3-game suspension, that compromising off of its own position, is a problem.
Yes. It's almost like, Skip, okay, this is what we'll do, Jameis. We won't give you the full 6 games.
Yep.
We'll give you the 3, but you can't appeal. But then
I
people,
think they already let him appeal. I think they negotiated, to
Correct.
your point.
and that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
But people start reading like, hold on, you said it was 6 to start with. You can't say, Skip, okay, if a touchdown is 6, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you 4 for the touchdown. Hold on, you already said if I score a touchdown it's 6 points.
Right.
How all of a sudden I get 4?
Right.
Especially when the touchdown involves domestic violence or sexual assault.
Thank you.
Correct.
So one quick point, just back on the football field. So now it appears Jameis will miss the first 3 games, and all 3 are against last year's division winners.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
They're trying to rebound, get back on track. No good.
They haven't picked up his option yet, have they?
I'm sure they're thinking hard about that.
Skip, all that weighs in.
Yep.
You got to factor all that in.
I know.
His head coach is on the hot seat. So now you put a lot of people, not only your career in jeopardy, you put other people's lives at risk because they put their trust and faith in you, Jameis. Jameis, you got to wake up, bro. You got to wake up. You got to do better than this.
Well said.
No mercy.
Luka Doncic and Trae Young were both drafted in the top 5 last night and then traded for each other. Now, Doncic was taken 3rd by the Hawks, but then moved to the Mavs for Young, who was picked 5th overall. Shannon, were you surprised to see Trae Young taken at 5th?
I was extremely shocked that he went that high. Skip, I thought he'd go to the Knicks because the Knicks need box office. And when you play in that, especially when you play in these storied buildings, Madison Square Garden, or where it used to be the former Staples, you play with the Lakers, or you play with the Boston Garden, you need stars. Well, they're devoid of that with Porzingis. Okay, he might be a star, Skip, but he stays hurt. So you might see him 25, 30 games a year. You might see him 50. But the likelihood of you seeing him all 42 home games is not very good. The Atlanta Hawks, I can understand them, Skip. Phillips Arena is empty a lot of nights. And it hadn't been full basically since they got rid of Dominique. Their fortunes with the home crowd has been a little meek. Now, I'm not saying Trae Young's going to be Steph Curry, but hell, can he be Clay? Can he give you
No.
Can he give you 20?
No.
Skip, he can't give you 20 and 7?
No.
We need to raise
He
some
can't
3.
give you 20.
That's what, because think about it, Skip. Oracle goes a while, not because Steph's dunking, not because Klay Thompson is 360, because of what? The 3-point shot. The game now has evolved beyond the arc. So instead of it being played above the rim, now it used to be, Skip, everybody, all they want to do is dunk. They windmill dunking. They back double pumping like Dominique and Jordan. Now what little 4- and 5-year-old kids do? They jacking up threes.
I know.
So that's where the game's going. So the Atlanta Hawks said, we need somebody. Big men don't really sell like the little guy, the Durants and the Joe and the LeBrons. They do it in the Russ. They sell a little better than the Anthony Davises and the Boogie Cousins and the Joel Embiid.
I agree.
So, but the dunk, Skip, I get it. They had Dirk, and they've had Dirk 20-plus years, and he's been unbelievable. You can make a case that there was a time that Dirk was the top 5 player for a 3 or 4 year period. Do you see that in Doncic?
Yep.
I
do not.
I don't either, Skip. I don't
not.
either.
So, I'm going to remind you, and you know Atlanta better than I do,
Yes.
but I used to attend and sometimes cover Dominique games in Atlanta that were 2/3 full.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm not even sure that town was turning out for Dominique and my friend Spud Webb, and they were fun to watch.
The human highlight. That was the only reason they were going, was to see him dunk.
I'm going to say it one more time about Trae Young, and I don't hate Trae Young. I'm a University of Oklahoma fan, and I watched him probably 25 out of his 32 games last year. But the Atlanta Hawks are terribly overrating Trae Young, because I'm going to remind you, they were prepared to take Trae Young with the 3rd pick.
Right.
They had one silver lining to this, one saving grace. They got a future pick. It's a protected 2019 pick to go back 2 slots.
Right.
But they were sitting there waiting, poised to take Trae Young 3rd overall.
Wow.
That is wrong, wrong, wrong. I'll say it one more time. Trae Young has one great strength. He is a rare, creative passer. If you want wow factor, if you want did you see that factor, this is your kid. But he also led the nation in turnovers last year, because he will try just about anything. And he will shoot just about anything, because it's mostly a feet on the floor set shot that he will launch when he was at OU from the Texas border.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes.
He will shoot it from almost half court. You can't get away with that in the National Basketball Association. Otherwise, he's 6 feet 1 inches tall, and he is slightly built. He is not an explosive athlete. He's not a leaper. He's not a great finisher. He struggled in the Big 12 to finish. He has no Allen Iverson in him finishing above the trees. No. And when you can't make people respect your three-point shot by going around them and getting to the basket, what happened in the Big 12, as the games wore on, he wore out.
Right.
And they lost 9 of their last 11 because Big 12 defenders just said, just get up in him. Outside. Right. Don't let him shoot the 35-foot set shot. Mm-hmm. Make him flinch on the set shot.
Okay.
Is that going to translate? And I haven't even brought up the defense, because he didn't even try to defend anybody in college, and I'm sure he will try in pro basketball. I just don't know if he's physical enough to defend point guards. And you talked yesterday, they will eat you alive night after night after night.
But the thing, let me ask you this, okay? He's got to be able to score as much as John Stockton. It's hard for me to believe that he's not as good, if not better athlete than John Stockton.
He will shoot more than John Stockton shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But can he be Rubio, Skip? Rubio had no jump shot.
I told you yesterday, he can be the best little man passer since John Stockton, who was he had balloon on the break. But
no, people ain't coming. The last person that people came to see pass the basketball was Pete Maravich. So those days are over, Skip. You got to be able to put the ball in the basket, or you got to be able to do something.
Okay, I got you. Now let's go to Doncic. They're talking in Dallas about the next Dirk. Here's the problem. You want to talk about coming up smaller than Dirk, literally smaller. Doncic is 6 feet 7 inches tall. Dirk Nowitzki is 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 5 big inches taller. And what could Dirk do that nobody could stop? He perfected that shot, that high release jump shot.
Yeah, that step back one.
Sometimes off one foot, the step back. No, the best athlete in the NBA cannot defend that, because he's 7 feet tall, and he worked on it so hard. He perfected that, and it can be mid-range or it can be from 3, right?
Yep.
Okay, Doncic at 6'7" will get exposed for all of the inadequacies that Dirk's not a great athlete.
No.
Dirk doesn't have explosive quickness, right?
No.
Dirk isn't physical.
No.
Well, that's what's going to happen to Doncic, because he's not going to have the one thing nobody can bother or stop, right?
And guess what? Kobe started shooting that shot.
He
Durant
did.
shoot that shot.
They did.
LeBron shoot that shot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, they talk about him, and I hadn't studied the guy, Skip, but I watched the highlights. The dude had 14, 3, and 5, and they're talking about him like he had a Russell Westbrook 40-point triple-double.
I don't know why in the Euro leagues the numbers are always smaller across the board.
And he's like, well, he plays great in the pick and roll. Okay, well, who do they got in Dallas that can pick and roll with him? I mean,
Dennis Smith, I guess. I don't know.
And that's the thing, though. He's European, or he's going to be the Dirk. Skip, that's an anomaly. You can anybody can make the case that Dirk is the best foreign-born player ever. You can make that argument for him. The dude got 30,000 points. He won an MVP. He won the Finals MVP, and for a stretch there, he was a top 5 player. So what? Top 5? That means he's got to be Anthony Davis. Is 24. You Carl Anthony Towns is like 22. You look at all these guys. I don't see that. I don't see him being a top 5 player.
Nope, I don't either. I think Ginobili is, but again, I can't argue with
you. Think Ginobili was a better player than Dirk?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Clutch shot maker.
No.
Leader.
No.
ring winner.
Skip.
Yeah.
He just
Dirk won one ring at the expense of LeBron James, and he won it because LeBron melted down, not because
how
Dirk
many would Ginobili have won if there was no Tim Duncan?
Well, obviously, but listen, Ginobili was a force on those teams.
Yeah, he was a good player. Yeah. He never win no Finals MVP. No, they went to Timmy and Kawhi.
Yeah, you go in that locker room and ask who's the MVP.
Tony.
Yeah.
Old Kawhi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to say this one more time. I told you this yesterday. I was out front on this. I told you Dante DiVincenzo will be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying he'll be a second-round pick. And the Bucks had the guts and the vision to say, at 17, we are taking him. And now they have two freakish athletes.
Yeah.
They obviously have the Greek freak,
right,
and they got a freakish leaper in Dante. Yeah. They got a big game clutch shooter and clutch defender who will make plays defensively as well as offensively. He's got an NBA body at 6'5". He can shoot threes at a 40% clip, and that's a steal. That was the steal of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, Middleton can shoot the ball. They got but I don't know, when you look at the Bucks, they're missing something, Skip. They're missing something.
Well, he's going to help add a little something to this.
They need somebody with some bricks in their pocket, Skip. They got a bunch of tall, skinny with nobody with bricks. They can't nobody. Come on, look at Greek Freak. Middleton, all those guys are skinny. Henson. Skip, you got to get somebody that can back it down.
I got Jason Terry, man.
Man, Jet.
He's going to be back.
Jet going to come off.
He's our man.
He's going to give you 10 minutes, get you a couple of points, go hustle. But he ain't backing nobody down, Skip. That's not his.
He'll teach Dante the ropes. He'll teach him how to play NBA basketball.
Well, they better worry about. They better hope LeBron moves out of town. They better hope LeBron, relocates out of the East. Because as long as he's in the Eastern time zone, it ain't looking good.
If LeBron stays in Cleveland, he better be looking sideways at them Bucks coming.
Really?
Yeah.
The baby reindeer? The baby reindeer.
Oh, now they're the
baby reindeer.
And the baby raptors, the baby dinosaurs.
Yeah, baby
right?
dinosaur, yeah. Oh, the little reindeers ain't going to do nothing, Skip. You know that.
Remember, I said it.
You said what?
I said Dante. That's the steal of the draft.
Sidney Moncrief coming back? They got Bob Lanier coming back sometime soon?
I love Sidney Moncrief.
Yeah, Terry Cummings. You remember Terry Cummings?
Do I?
Oh, okay, yeah, but I don't see them coming back. They are. They straight.
All right, fellas.
No mercy.
Dez Bryant, he was released by the Cowboys 2 months ago, but he's still looking for a new team. Yesterday, somebody on Instagram wrote that Dez should be spending his time looking for a new team. Dez responded by saying, quote, "The last problem I have is finding a team. I'm in a world you will never understand." Shannon, do you believe Dez here?
No, that's Dez Price talking, Skip. Because think about it. Dez was the #1 receiver for a long period of time. He's only 29 years of age. In 3 weeks, teams are going to be lining up, starting going to training camp. And a 29-year-old receiver in the NFL that was an all-pro at one point in time, who's gone to 2 Pro Bowls, isn't on the roster. Now, this is his pride. Oh, I'm good. I ain't even worried about no teams. But really, because you had an opportunity to get a 3-year deal, you settle for a 1. Now, most teams were probably going to be only wanted to give you a 1-year deal. But the Ravens were willing to step out there and say, we believe in you. We're going to give you a 3-year deal. But that's not what you wanted. Skip, okay, Baltimore's off the table. The Cowboys are off the table. The Packers are not going to take him. New England. It's not like Dez has it where I can go anywhere I want to. That's not his option, Skip. He's 29. He doesn't run the complete route tree. He's injured. What? I mean, why is he even on responding to these?
You're asking me? I've been asking you that for months.
Because
I know somebody else who responds.
It struck a nerve, though, Skip. It struck a nerve with him. Yeah, I respond. They be like this. Oh, Shay, you be getting it, Skip. I said, I do. They say, yeah, get it, too, but get the ball.
So you need to be reinforced. You need the validation.
Yeah, I need to look pat on the back.
Joe Nobody on Twitter, right?
Oh, no, there's somebody.
There's somebody. Joe somebody, okay? You make him somebody.
I'm up to 566,000.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. I'm coming for you.
Up from what?
Don't worry about where I was at the start now. But I'm headed in the right direction.
So let me get this straight. So Dez is on Instagram yesterday, and he's reading his responses on Instagram, right? And he reads, I'm going to immortalize, at Robbie Gonzalez, because that's who it was.
Yeah.
So at Robbie says, shouldn't you be looking for a team, bro? Because it's a good question.
Bro, yeah.
Because Dez had posted looking for a creative graphic designer and sketch artist. So at Robbie says, hey, what about a team? Don't you need a team? And Dez responds, the last problem I have is finding a team. And then he says, I'm in a world you will never understand. Well, then why, if at Robbie Gonzalez can't understand your world, why do you need to impress upon him that he can't understand it? What, are you that insecure, that thin-skinned? Are you, dare I say, facing your NFL mortality to the point that you're starting to get a little queasy about it?
Yes.
That you have to respond to at Robbie Gonzalez? You have no idea what world I live in, right?
Skip, what 29-year-old you know retires from the league or wants to get out of the league that doesn't have a career-ending injury or doesn't have concussion-related symptoms? 29-year-olds don't normally walk away from a sport where there's no mitigating circumstances where there's injury or possibility or probability of injury. I mean, career injury. Like my brother retired at 29. He had a neck injury. We see Chris Borland.
It was life-threatening.
Exactly. Yeah. He could have been paralyzed with another hit. Michael Irvin ended up retiring because of an injury.
Yep.
Chris Borland retired because of the concussion. Like, nah, I'm good. So we see guys retire, but they have mitigating circumstances in which leads them to do that.
Yep.
Dez Bryant doesn't have any of those.
Nope.
And he says, I'm good. We know Dez want to play. Because why was he so upset? If he didn't want to play anymore, why was he so hell-bent on trying to get to the Giants? Why was he so hell-bent trying to get to Washington? Why is he trying to get the teams that play the Cowboys if you good? If you good, you like, I'm good, cuz I ain't even worried. Hey, as a matter of fact, I'm retiring. But we know that's not what Dez is doing. That's his pride talking, Skip, because guess what? Here we are 3 weeks from training camp, and I still don't have a job.
So the Giants and Redskins didn't leap to sign Dez Bryant. What does that tell you?
Oh, Packers. I mean,
No.
so all these teams, I mean, 32 teams, I mean, so basically 28 teams because we just listed a couple of teams that have no interest in him. So there are 28, 27 other teams. When they call it?
Yep. If those teams had not seen what you saw last year and what you repeatedly said last year on this show, they would have leaped at Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
He's a number one, right?
Yes.
And he's cheap. You can steal him, man, right? You can get him for a song, basically, right?
A bargain is only a bargain if you need what they're selling.
That is correct. Well,
So don't tell me, hey, I go to, I don't know, Sam Clubs or the Costco, they got these big old things of tomato sauce.
Right.
They say, oh, it's $5. But why do I need it? Why do I need 10 gallons of mayonnaise or 8 gallons of ketchup unless I own a restaurant or I'm the Duggars and I got 25 kids? Okay, Dez, yeah, he's a bargain, but he's a bargain at what? If he can't do what I need him to do.
so I think you just called Dez 8 gallons of ketchup.
Or 20 of mayonnaise.
Or 20 a minute.
I'm saying, you saying he's a bargain at $1 million. I'm saying a bargain is a bargain only if you need what's being sold.
I agree. And what have I told you from the start of this offseason? The one great move that the Dallas Cowboys made, because they haven't made any other great moves, was getting rid of Dez Bryant. They cleared the air, cleaned the slate, started fresh without Dez Bryant. That's the only great move they've made, and it is a really good move for them. It will help rebuild their whole chemistry next year.
Look at all the guys that got cut, released early. Look at Jordan. Look at all these guys that got released. They done got picked up.
Hey, can you believe just in 2014, 2015, Dez Bryant was on the cover of Rolling Stone. He crossed over. He cut through, right?
Yeah.
He was that big a deal, and he got his money, and he earned it and deserved it at that point.
Yes.
But you always tell me you have to keep updating your resume.
Every year.
And for 2 years, he didn't update it. He nuked it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and what you mean 2 years? This started in 2015.
Well, you can go back.
He had yet to get 1,000 yards since he got that big payday.
Yeah. Body broke down.
Yet to get double-digit touchdowns.
Confidence lost. Led the league in drops.
But he good.
I don't know.
He good. He good, cuz. He in a world we don't even know anything about.
Yeah,
Skip.
well, I guess not. Well,
I
hope he enjoys it.
I tell you what I do. I do know about that receiver world.
You do.
I do know about running routes. I do know that.
You do.
And I can look. I can say, hey, all we got to do, come on. Dez, if I don't know what I'm talking about, hey, get your film together and come on out here to L.A. You can get my number. We sit down and watch, and I can pick your game apart. And I can tell you what you're going to run within 3 steps of you running it.
I would love to be a fly on that wall.
No, you can come.
Oh, really?
Within 3 steps, I can tell Dez Bryant what route he's running.
Yeah.
I don't know much. Skip, you know what I'm saying? I don't know everything. I know a little bit about everything. But what I know a hell of a lot about.
Of course.
Well, you called him out all year long.
Hey, what did the general manager say? What's his name? Wilmer Clay? Mm-hmm. What did he say, Skip? A guy that
what
can't.
You said? Yeah.
Now he looking at tape. That's all he does. That his only job, Skip, is to look at tape on guys they might sign or guys they might release. So that's all he does is look at tape. Potential college guys, NFL guys, and he says, watching the tape, I see a guy that cannot consistently win one-on-one. Yep. That's what he said.
That's what he said. And now the rest of the NFL has validated Will McClay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Skip, I'm just old. What do I know, Skip? I'm just old co-host debate guy. Nah, well, I don't know nothing about no football. No little that much.
Wow. All right, guys, we're going to leave that one there. Is there any chance, though, that LeBron stays in Cleveland after last night's draft? We'll discuss it with Chris Broussard next on No Mercy. LeBron James can opt out of his current deal next week and sign with a new team on July 1st. The Cavs GM, Colby Altman, said yesterday, quote, "We continue to have good dialogue with his management team." Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard's potential trade status could affect LeBron's decision. Yesterday, Spurs GM R.C. Buford said they'll explore all options with Kawhi, but they'd like to keep him. Last night, the Cavs selected Colin Sexton with their first-round draft pick, and he wasted no time sending LeBron a message. Take a listen.
LeBron, let's do it. Let's do it. I see you need a few pieces, that one extra piece this past season. Hey, let's do it. Let's go back to the finals. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it, Chris. We're joined now by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. What's your take on? Do you think that will make LeBron stay in Cleveland?
Direct quote I was given about what last night's draft, the effect that might have on LeBron, from somebody who would know, was zero. So, no, that's not going to impact him. But there have been developments. So I think the two things that we have to look at with LeBron are there is a growing sentiment that Paul George is staying in Oklahoma City. Now, whether or not that's true, we'll find out. But there's a growing sentiment of that, including among those close to LeBron, okay? Then, of course, Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, the Spurs right now have no intentions of playing ball with the Lakers. So let's look at this. If Paul George stays in Oklahoma City and Kawhi Leonard does not get traded this summer, does LeBron go to the Lakers by himself and essentially waste a year? Waste your 16th year. Like, how many more years is he going to have at the height of his game?
Shannon says no, correct?
No, I don't see him going to L.A. for a year because it's
Just
a throwaway
wasting
year.
a year. Okay. So remember, he doesn't have to become a free agent. He has the option. So how if those two scenarios play out, what about the option? And I'm told Cleveland is still an option of staying in Cleveland one more year. I heard you say they would be the favorites.
Sure.
I don't think they'd be the favorites in the East. I think Boston and Philly would be the favorites. I know you would have them, but so if there's no pressure on him to win, if LeBron gets to the finals, then he's praised. And I do agree with you. Look, they had a chance to win two of those three.
They did.
And maybe if Sexton is better than advertised or comes on quick, or maybe they can make a move before the deadline or this summer, maybe he just stays one more year. His son is going into 8th grade, not 9th grade. So it won't affect, you won't have to be moving him around from high school. And then in the summer of 2019, because Kawhi's thinking right now is I'm going to be in Los Angeles and preferably with the Lakers. And if the Spurs don't trade me, then I will be there in 2019 as a free agent. So maybe in 2019, LeBron just says, okay, I'll play out this year in Cleveland. And in 2019, let's see what the playing field looks like. Maybe me and Kawhi go to the Lakers together as free agents then. So,
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't think I definitely don't think he wants to go to, say, a Houston for a year or Philly for a year and then LA or whatever, so.
Colin, LeBron did need a few pieces. He needed a few pieces of Popeye's chicken. Extra spicy. That's what the pieces he need. Skip, look. And that might be true, Chris. Okay, 35, so basically $36 million he were to opt in. I do not believe LeBron could even get back to, it would be a struggle for him to get to the Eastern Conference Finals with this roster.
I don't necessarily disagree. They'd have a shot, but that's the point. Nobody, other than you, I don't think that anybody would think they're going to get back to the finals. And so if he gets them back, he's praised.
Swept the Raptors. They swept them.
I think Boston and Philly would be favored ahead of them.
Substantially favored. Substantially favored in front of.
I think you may be overstating it a little though. They're not gonna be like freaking decrepit. No. Like you still got the best player in the world. You still got Kevin
you want him to
Love.
play another 38 minutes a night? Because that's what it's going to take.
So let me ask you this: what does he do under my scenario? If Kawhi's staying in San Antonio, George is in OKC, and what does he do? If he doesn't go to the Lakers by himself, what other options he does?
He's stuck. I mean, like I said, because I always felt that he really wanted two options: the Lakers or the Cavs.
Okay.
I feel that he really wanted, but he doesn't know if he can lure someone to Cleveland to join him.
Do you two remember how you were high-fiving after the trade deadline? Do you remember?
I have no recollection of that. No,
I wasn't. Chris and I
got this.
We wasn't
But we were saying to get to the finals. We weren't saying to beat Golden State.
We weren't high-fiving for what was coming in. We were high-fiving for what was leaving.
Okay, but Kyrie was still upright. He was still healthy at that point, right?
Yeah.
He was.
Well, I did feel like, and it played out, that they would win the East.
Okay.
I never thought they going to be Golden State.
So
with this.
is LeBron, you told me he had his best year ever. Is he going to decline over the summer precipitously? Is he going to be half the player he was a year ago?
JR might be a third or half the player that he was last year. So then what?
Well, they would have, look, I will say this. Kobe Altman said it last night. Maybe the experience of going through the playoffs with some of these guys, maybe they'll improve that.
They went through the wars with LeBron. They got to feel what it felt like.
Okay,
it's hard. It's hard to play alongside.
JR's done this 4 times, Skip.
Yeah. Not JR, though. Hood, Clarkson, Nance.
Larry Nance, and George Hill.
Oh, Lord.
Those. And Colin Sexton is a nice player. Colin Sexton will be a little better NBA player than Trae Young will be. He's a more explosive athlete. He's mentally tougher. He can finish like crazy. He's the flip side of Trae Young. He's going to have to work on his shot more, but Trae Young's just a feet-on-the-floor set shooter, three-point shooter. He doesn't have a jump shot either. So Colin Sexton will grow quickly under LeBron, if in fact it went this way. LeBron would enjoy the association with Colin because he's a great kid. He's coachable under Avery Johnson and Tuscaloosa.
LeBron like veterans.
Yeah, I know he does.
Smart.
I got it.
I agree. I don't think Cleveland's the greatest option, but if he doesn't go to L.A., and maybe he does go to L.A. and waste a year and get used to playing with the young kids, but they have absolutely no chance to win a championship. At least in Cleveland, you will have a chance to get back to the finals, and then you take your chances.
I was intrigued by what the Sixers did, speaking of the Eastern Conference, because they took Mikal Bridges, who's a really good basketball player, mentally tough, physically tough, hard-nosed Philly kid, Villanova product, had a locker in the Sixers locker room all year because his mom worked in HR for the Sixers, and it was a feel-good story of the night, and they let him go ahead and do his whole media session as a Sixer, and they traded him. He was Brett Brown's favorite college player. And they traded him because all of a sudden, and I know it's all the way out to 2021, but they got Miami's former unprotected first-round pick. So they added it to a stockpile. They have the Kings' unprotected first-rounder next year.
That's going to be, think about that.
Oh.
You know that's going to be good. You know that's going to be good.
So all of a sudden, does Brett Brown not have San Antonio connections? Does he not have rapport that the Lakers wouldn't have in working out a trade with R.C. Buford and Pop? So all of a sudden, they have positioned themselves, and Brett Brown late last night was very open about, we want to go big game hunting. We are positioning ourselves to go for broke here. So they were trying to put together a package of draft picks that they could lure Kawhi, that they could trade for Kawhi.
Though, Kawhi's made it abundantly clear. Either this year or next year, I'm going to be in L.A. Are you willing to trade that Kings unprotected draft pick for Kawhi for 1 year?
Okay, what you would have to talk him into is, we have just signed LeBron James. Will you come play with LeBron for a couple of years in Philadelphia with Embiid, with Ben Simmons, with Sorry?
I agree. I think Philly should be a big option. We've talked about that before for LeBron. And this is the thing with Kawhi. Is it Lakers or bust? Or is it Lakers or my favorite and my choice? But, I'm open to something else. Because, look, he should be open to Philadelphia. And maybe the Sixers would even say, like Oklahoma City did with Paul George, let's bring him here 1 year. What if they get to the finals, which they'd have a great shot? Let's forget LeBron. Say they bring in Kawhi with the trade, and they get to the finals. Does Kawhi walk away from that?
Man.
Or God forbid, I don't think they'd win the finals, but just getting there.
Do you think Kawhi, looking at Kawhi and his demeanor, nothing fazed Kawhi. Kawhi walked just to quit.
No,
all the success that he's had.
You think even if they got to the finals in the East, he would walk?
He won the finals. He won the finals MVP. He's won 60-plus games. Kawhi gonna do his own thing. See, Kawhi,
I agree with that.
And maybe you're right. Maybe he's just tired of San Antonio. Maybe that's what it is, Skip. And maybe
Okay, but he and his uncle overplayed their public hand.
You think? You don't think the Spurs overplayed their hand either?
No, they overplayed their hand because you do not issue ultimatums publicly, which they did to the San Antonio Spurs. Trade us or you're in trouble. And that's the Spurs don't play that game. So R.C. Buford said, we won't even take the Lakers' call because they still have the rights to Kawhi Leonard all the way through next year. You say, well, what if he walks? Well, at least they have him up to the trade deadline. You don't think there would be hysteria at the trade deadline to get him?
Chris, that quad is still a little sore. That quad ain't healed up yet. That quad ain't healed up yet.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it's a little tender.
Guess what? The quad's still tender while you're sitting on San Antonio's bench.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we take another $19 million.
I do think it'd be hard for him to sit out another year. I think that would begin to affect your reputation among other clubs. But he could still go there and play great for the first few months, but still not consider staying with the Spurs. It would be harder for them to trade him at the deadline to somebody else because then other teams are saying, I'm definitely not giving up a boatload to get him just for a couple months.
Right.
So.
Well, you'd need his commitment, but if he would commit,
It's going to be interesting. But I think Kawhi's got the most leverage right now.
I do too.
I think he does have the most leverage. But the Spurs.
The reason he doesn't is because he's not unrestricted.
Yeah.
He's Spurs property.
First of all, he only has 1 year. Kyrie had 2 years and forced his way out of Cleveland. Kawhi, I got 1 year.
Well, as you said, that was Cleveland's fault.
Yeah, they made a mistake with that. They made a mistake with that.
But see, he talking about he was gonna have surgery. If you didn't, he ended up having surgery anyway. But Kawhi's a different kind of cat. Kawhi's a different dude. I don't know if we've seen a dude like him.
I think people underestimate Kawhi because he's quiet.
Yeah.
They think he's simple because he doesn't talk, but I think he's very intelligent, observant of everything.
And hear everything.
Yep.
Old Tony Parker running his yak. Oh, I'm 100 times. I was 100 times worse than his, and I'm already back.
That was 100% true statement that he made. He was 100 times more hurt. He tore his quadriceps muscle. It ruptured, completely ruptured. Kawhi had a bruised thigh, and you didn't play?
Here's what I believe would happen with that. I certainly don't believe Pop sent Parker out, go say something like this. I think Tony, from covering him over the years, talking to him, Tony is just blunt. And I don't think Tony even necessarily knew that it was going to be taken the way it was. I think he was just being honest in his feelings and didn't think anything of it.
He rushed back last year. He was a shell of himself because he was coming back too soon from a ruptured quad injury.
Here's
the ankle though.
One nuclear option, and I don't think LeBron would do, but we've talked about Houston in the past. From what I'm told, there's tension now between Houston and Chris Paul because there was definitely some type of handshake, wink, wink. We're gonna max you out last summer, But here's the thing: now they're not so sure. Houston, with good reason, doesn't want to do that. But they've got an out because they have new ownership. So Daryl Morey can go to Chris Paul and be like, I want to do it, but we got the new owner doesn't want to give you 5 years or 4 years, whatever. So if Chris does it possibly, could Chris and LeBron go to the Lakers? Could Chris Paul go elsewhere, which would open up Houston? I don't think LeBron would go there with them doing that to Chris Paul, and he doesn't want to be there long term. So I don't think a year. But there's so much. I'm told LeBron hasn't made a decision yet.
No, he hadn't.
And because there's so many moving parts.
Fascinating stuff. Chris Broussard, thank you so much for joining us today. Next up on Undisputed, did Trae Young get picked too high last night? We'll discuss it with Eddie House next.
We're going to miss you. Me and Autumn going to the spoon.
Are you really going?
We going this week. I told her, I said, where you want to go?
Why y'all gonna go after? Where's Autumn? Autumn. Shoot, I'm gonna be back in July.
Oh, what you call her? Her mama made me some oxtails. mac and cheese, collard
Is her
greens.
mom gonna meet you there?
No, she made me that.
No mercy.
Luka Doncic and Trae Young were both drafted in the top 5 last night, and then they were traded for each other. Now, Doncic was taken 3rd by the Atlanta Hawks, then moved to the Dallas Mavericks for Young, who was picked 5th overall. We're joined now by FS1 NBA analyst Eddie House. Eddie,
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Was that too high to draft Trae Young?
No, it wasn't at all for this reason. The Atlanta Hawks need point guard play. So Dallas didn't need a point guard. They have Dennis Smith Jr., so it made sense for both teams. Dallas had their eyes on Luka Doncic. Atlanta had their eyes on getting a point guard. Trae Young, on their board, was the best available point guard. They only have 2 on their roster right now, Isaiah Taylor, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder wants out. So they're looking to rebuild.
And they want to get him out.
Yeah, they want to
oblige him, Skip.
And they will get him out.
Yeah.
The thing is what I'm going to be looking at it. They have a very young, inexperienced head coach. This is his first year being a head coach, Lloyd Pierce. I know he can be relatable to the young guys because he's a young fella himself. It's just how are they going to maximize what Trae Young does well? And I think that's what people need to, if they're a coach, tap into that. Don't worry about what he does bad. Try to highlight what he does well and give him as much confidence as possible because this roster is terrible. They're not going to do anything. And they got $30 million in cap space. So what they could do is lure a younger, what you would call a vet, like 4 or 5 years in, looking to get paid. Yep. That could take some pressure off him.
Cousins.
But it's still, Boogie Cousins will want to go there. You don't want to go somewhere. They're not going to win for a long time.
No.
And so I don't think Boogie Cousins want to put himself through that. He did that in Sacramento, and he was known as a head case because he didn't like losing like that. So I think it was the right thing to do. He didn't go too high.
Well, the thing is, the guy that selected him was in the Golden State Warriors organization. And so he's looking at Trae Young as a young Steph Curry. That building started getting raucous, Skip. Why? Because they were raining threes. There's nobody dunking, nobody 360, and nobody doing anything spectacular. They're just raining threes. And I guess he's going to try to build this team around Trae Young in what he does really well, which is shoot from distance and assist the basketball. So you better find you a Clay, find another Clay, somebody else that's can make 200 threes in a season, and maybe you'll be on to something. But he's box office, Skip, with the exception of Bagley Jr. and DeAndre Ayton. He's the biggest name. And when
I think he's a bigger name than the other two. He was the biggest name in the draft.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for big guys to really sell, So with that being said, and Atlanta didn't like it in ticket sales. Skip, you say it was half full with Dominique. It's a third full now. Yep. They got monkeys riding dogs. They got, they got a lady with the unicycle and taking bowls on her head. They got Luda and 2 Chainz performing at halftime. They're doing everything they can. Yep. They got a barbershop up in Phillips Arena and free cuts. Trying to get people to come, Skip. So maybe he'll bring an extra 1,000 fans to the arena.
So I'm going to say this one more time. Before the Steph Curry draft, I was on record on ESPN saying I would take Steph Curry #1 overall ahead of Blake Griffin. And a whole lot of ESPN analysts laughed at me. And now I'm laughing at any analyst who thinks that Trae Young is remotely comparable to Steph Curry because he shouldn't be uttered in the same breath with
Maybe
Steph
5-6 years in,
He
Skip.
will not. He will not. Steph Curry is an athlete. Steph Curry has explosiveness to it. He has gears. He has handle. Trae's got a handle too. I'm going to say it one more time. Trae Young has one great strength, and it is a great strength. He is a rare, creative, clever passer of the basketball. And if that's what you want to go pay your money to see, if you like that wow factor, that, oh my God, what did he just pull off kind of a factor with that pass, good for you. But he also led the nation in turnovers last year because he will try just about any pass possible, and a lot of them won't connect. But Lon Kruger, who's a smart basketball coach, had to just sit back and grit his teeth and let the kid try. And he would try 35-foot set shots because they're not really jump shots. You had a jump shot. You're about the same size, 6'1"-ish or so? Yeah, he's 6'1", Trae Young 6'1". But you had some stature to you. You had strength to you. You could drive it. If somebody dared you to drive the basketball, you would drive the basketball. But you could pull up and jump shoot the basketball from range, and he's a set shooter. He's not a leaper at all. He can't finish. He had a hard time in the Big 12 finishing at the rim, so he's not Iverson. He can't finish above the trees with strength and raw leaping power. There's nothing explosive about his game, and he won't defend anybody. So, again, will that sell tickets in Atlanta? I don't know. Because just look, he got worn down in a 32-game schedule. In the Big 12, they lost 9 of their last 11 games, including the first-round game to Rhode Island in the tournament, because he got worn down and wore out because defenders got up into him and wouldn't let him shoot those 30-foot set shots anymore. They just said, drive it on us, because he couldn't drive it on them.
Well, Skip, he's not going to have to worry about going to class. He's not going to have to worry about study hall. So now he should hire him a nutritionist. He'll be able to get into the gym and maybe put on a few pounds and be able to withstand some of that pressure. I don't think anybody thought Steph Curry would be Steph Curry that we see today when they drafted him.
Not this Steph.
No, I didn't think
he was going to be that.
No,
But I
two-time
thought he was
MVP.
the best player in that draft,
I mean,
and I said so.
The dude has made 406 threes in a season. 406.
That's crazy.
I mean, that was more than teams were taking in the entire season, Skip. And he's one guy. Then you got Clay making almost 300. So, like I said, if he's going to be your Steph, you better find you a Clay somewhere.
Well, I think the GM tried to find a Clay with this guy, Kevin Herter. He's
He
a guy,
can
he's
shoot it.
6'7",
The Maryland
similar
kid.
frame.
Yep.
He can shoot it, got
He
a
can
high
shoot it.
basketball IQ,
Yep.
can come off pin downs, can come off pick and rolls and shoot the ball and also make plays out of those sets. So I think the GM is kind of bringing some of that
like
Golden
Bazemore,
State.
too.
I don't know. I think Kim Bazemore, and I don't want like
He's
talking about
herky-jerky.
people. I don't like talking about people money like that, but I think that they might have overpaid for Kim Bazemore. I think they could have got him for a little bit less and have a little bit more cap space. But I see what the guy is trying to do. He's trying to build similar to what Golden State did. Find your point guard that's a shooter, a playmaker, and also find a knockdown shooter at about 6'7". The thing is, this guy Kevin Herter is not a defender like Klay Thompson. So and then so you got two guys on your perimeter at two really important positions, the two guard and the point that really can't play that really good defense, and you don't have any back end help. So it's gonna be a long road for them.
I think
Long
Dante
haul.
DiVincenzo has a higher NBA ceiling than Trae Young does.
But you said this, though. This is one thing you said, that Trae Young is a great passer. Not
Great.
too many people in the league have something that they do great.
It's
they could
great.
do a lot of things
Yep.
good, but if he is a great passer, you got to say his ceiling has to be extremely high.
All right, Eddie House, thank you so much for joining us.
Eddie.
Next up, does LiAngelo Ball have any future in the NBA? We'll discuss it next.
No mercy.
LiAngelo Ball was not picked in last night's NBA draft. LiAngelo had workouts with the Lakers and Warriors leading up to the draft and can still be picked up as a free agent. So, Shannon Sharpe, what's his basketball future look like now?
Short term in the NBA, it doesn't really look good, Skip. Maybe he can go to the G League and play in the G League and get picked up. I guess the JBA, the league that his father started, I guess that's not an option for him. I don't think anybody's surprised that he didn't get drafted last night, Skip, because there were reported a lot of teams did not even have him on the draft board.
Yep.
I don't really know what he gained by withdrawing from UCLA and going and playing overseas in Lithuania. I don't know what he gained from that, but that
He might have hurt himself.
maybe that was he and his father's grand scheme of things. But it doesn't look good. I mean, it looks bad now because he had an opportunity to play college ball and everybody thought it would take him 2-3 years to develop into the type of player that he wanted to be or that his father envisioned him being. And he tried to fast track that situation because I guess he did something that he wasn't supposed to do. UCLA have their standard in which they wanted to punish him. And his dad said no, so he removed him and they went overseas. That doesn't look like a very good move now. He's very young. So I'm thinking maybe G League and in a couple of years, maybe someone will give him an opportunity. Who knows? As Ebony said in the read-in, maybe someone signs him as a free agent. But don't go about it this route, guys. This is what not to do.
Yep.
If you want to try to make it to the NBA.
That is correct. I'm hoping for LiAngelo because he seems like a good kid.
Yes.
G League at best. I'm hoping that Lavar, in trying to talk LiAngelo into the NBA, we had them both on the show the other day, I hope that Lavar hasn't succeeded in talking him out of the NBA
Correct.
because nobody wants to deal with Lavar. And when I saw the current Foot Locker commercial, have you checked this out?
I saw it.
Yeah, can we see it again just to remind those who might not have seen it just what happened? Whew.
One and done.
What's going on? This is Reggie Coach here to tell you about the One and Done t-shirt collection from Foot Locker. So guys, tell us the inspiration behind the new limited edition draft night t-shirts.
Well, I only played in college for 1 year.
And I only played 1 year overseas.
And these tees are only on sale for 1 day. So like us, they're one and done.
And like us, these tees will be snatched up tonight and not available tomorrow.
Yes, snatched up tonight on draft night. That's the goal. Don't underestimate this one right here.
Yes, they're all great looking tees and only $29.99.
Go to footlocker.com/one-and-done right now.
Act now before the night gets any later, and I'll throw in this limited edition wipey absolutely free. Easily cleans up any mess you find yourself making. Trust me, this sucker comes in handy.
Order tonight while supplies last.
Please act now, or at least before the second round is over.
So think about this. LiAngelo Ball, who wasn't even on, reportedly, any NBA draft board, did a commercial with Trae Young, the biggest lightning rod name in the draft.
The fifth pick in there. He was the fifth pick in the draft.
Could have been the third pick if Atlanta had sat and taken him at number 3. And he did a Foot Locker national commercial with Trae Young because of his father, who has talked his way into becoming a household name, not only in this country, but in a lot of countries.
But let me tell you what you can happen, Skip. You can get someone and they can talk for you and they sell a product. But you can't talk someone into doing something. Either he can or he can't. Now, you can say Lonzo can do all that. Either he can or he can't. And he's going to be able to do it on his own merit, not you talking about it. Either LiAngelo is going to be able to do what you said he can because he has the ability, or he can't. You talking does not make someone be able to do that. And I think, speaking into it existence is one thing.
Yep.
No, Skip, you can't speak that into existence. You can't speak something into existence if it's not in the guy.
You can also speak it out of existence if these teams who might even have a thought about bringing you to camp, maybe, just to give you a try, are saying, we don't want to have to deal with the Lavar problem, right?
And you don't, Skip, you don't want to start a situation, be it Pop Warner or high school or college, where the parent can dictate. Because once you start that, that's a slippery slope you do not want to stand on, Skip. So don't start that, because he's already told you, Lavar has already told you, I'm going to be Lavar. I'm going to talk when I want to talk. I'm going to say what I want to say. Okay, we'll let you do that. But you won't be able to talk about our franchise because you won't have a son here, so you can talk about us.
I don't have a good feeling for LiAngelo.
Look, I want him to get a chance. Skip, let him get a chance. Let's see what he can do. Hopefully he can go to the G League. Spend a year or two in the G League, refine his craft, and get an opportunity. But I do not see how leaving UCLA early. Well, he didn't. Basically, he enrolled and just came out. I just don't see how that helped him.
I think at best he was a 4-year college player.
Right.
At best. And maybe he could have convinced somebody to take him in the second round after 4 years. Right. But now, with no track record at all except Lithuania, which was not impressive by all accounts, really?
Offer still stands. I can make him a tight end.
Well, can you?
Yep. San Diego needs one, too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony Lamb, my former teammate, the head coach.
Yeah.
I get him right.
Yeah, he's got that Lavar body,
yeah,
right?
6'4", 6'5". Lucky about 235 right now. I put 20 pounds on him. Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez reincarnated.
Lavar was on 2 NFL practice squads, right?
Yeah.
Carolinas and the Jets, I believe, as a tight end, right?
Yeah,
Washington State.
I know a little bit more about tight end than Lavar, but okay.
I don't know. Lavar knows a lot about a lot. That's what he says. Right?
Oh, I believe it. It's just not about that position more than I do. Now, basketball, if you want to teach your son how to shoot and all that stuff, but when it comes to that position, nah.
Well, Lavar continues to say the youngest son is going to be the best of all. And he says the youngest son is going to wind up 6'9" or maybe even 6'10", talking about LaMelo. So we'll see. But I'm starting to get a bad feeling about the middle son, who comes across as a really nice kid.
All I'm seeing, and just bad situation, Skip. Bad situation.
All right, guys. Up next, why did
Time out. You my friend, have a big birthday coming up this coming Tuesday. Am I right about that?
I do.
It's number 50 in honor of Sean Lee, the best linebacker in all of football. It's your number 50. It's the Sean Lee
David
birthday,
Robinson.
right? No, number 50 is Sean Lee. There's the one and only. So, because we are not on the air next week because of the World Cup matches, we have, first up, a gift from our staff. The Undisputed staff is going to give Shannon Sharpe this.
I thought y'all was gonna have LeBron here today.
Well,
Y'all ain't got what LeBron.
This is the
Be
closest thing
patient. Be
to
patient.
it. Yeah. Aha. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what I got.
Yeah. Is there more in
Some
there?
LeBron
There's
slippers.
more in there.
You didn't
Wait,
get
you didn't
finish.
get the bottom of it.
Oh, I got some LeBron.
Oh, there we go.
Oh. I got some real goat pajamas.
No,
Goat
Shannon.
James.
Look at this.
Shannon.
Is that like sleepwear or what is that? Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, pajamas.
Sure.
See what y'all did, Skip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, I do like it.
It's gonna look really nice.
They gonna
on
see
you,
me walking
Shannon.
my dogs down the street in these.
Yeah.
Right there on Wilshire.
That is just.
I appreciate that,
Lovely.
staff.
So
Thank
wait
you.
a second, I'm not finished yet.
What?
Now it is my turn to give my man, Shannon Sharpe, my very special gift. Could we please bring that out?
Where?
Here we go. Oh! Go! Wait, Shannon.
I got you.
Shannon, you got him?
I got you.
You got him? Is it a he or she? I don't know.
I got you.
It's a she.
Hey, buddy.
She's so sweet.
Shannon, do you realize what this is?
What?
It's a real goat representing the real goat, Michael Jordan.
Dude.
That's what you
That
needed
was
all
on
along.
20.
Oh, she's a little skittish.
I got you. I got you.
Shannon.
I got you.
Huh?
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might want to take that home, Shannon.
Yeah.
Yeah?
My boys will love
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah. But you got the wrong jersey on. You should have a Cleveland Cavaliers jersey on, 23.
yeah.
Same number, just a different color. Hey, lady.
See, that's what a real goat looks like, right?
I know
Not
what
a
a real,
goat mask.
I know what a real goat looks
Yeah.
like. I
Yeah.
know what a real goat looks
Yeah.
like. I was raised on the farm. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Yep. I'm taking this goat home.
That is so
I need a raise. I need to be able to buy goat food.
Yeah. Shannon Sharpe, happy 50th birthday.
Man, appreciate it.
Happy 50th birthday,
Actually,
Shannon.
this goat might be the best birthday gift I
Amber,
had.
look at that smile on your face.
You like her.
I do.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, lady.
All right. Happy birthday, Shannon. We're going to
Thank
be
you.
right back on Undisputed.
No mercy.
Our final topic of the day. DeAndre Ayton was the #1 pick in last night's draft. Now, he's been compared to 76ers' Joel Embiid, but he's also been criticized for his lack of effort and a lack of defense. Now, last night after the pick, Embiid tweeted, quote, "Don't compare Ayton to me either. I play defense." Shannon, do you have a problem with Embiid's tweet?
I do not, because this is who Joel Embiid is, Skip. And he's on social media, and sometimes I think he's just scrolling down trying to find someone to troll. Fans love him. I love him for it. I have no problem because he is fundamentally sound, Skip. Joel Embiid can give you 20 and 15, 25 and 15 tonight, but he also plays, he's in the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. He, Anthony Davis, and Rudy Gobert. So he's absolutely right, and I got no problem with what he tweeted.
So explain this to me, because maybe I don't get it. Why would a player as already accomplished as Joel Embiid stoop to try to shame a kid who's played exactly 0 minutes in the NBA?
No, he's trying to shame those who said, compare him to me. I'm going to shame you for making that comparison.
But the ultimate victim here, quote unquote,
Yeah.
is poor Ayton, because he had to do his media session last night defending himself on playing defense, in part because Joel Embiid had taken a shot.
Well, he'll get a chance. Guess what? He'll see Joel Embiid. So you'll get an opportunity to shut him down, shut his mouth, and I'm going to be ready to tweet. Make sure I watch that game, because I'm going to be ready to tweet. I was like, Joel Embiid, he giving you the business tonight. Say you're sorry.
He already has the body to give him the business.
He does.
He
Yeah.
does. He will be
DeAndre
able
Ayton.
to hold his own physically.
He
with
got a
Joel.
grown man's body
Right?
at what, 19, 20,
Yeah.
right now.
And I got to tell you, he plays with edge on offense. And I thought DeAndre Ayton made a good point. In college, the centers were so inferior that he said he was often having to, quote unquote, guard somebody who couldn't score anyway. So
Right.
he's mainly just patrolling the lane. So
He don't have to, he's like, okay, you're right. We'll see. Said, you know what he should have said? Because he knew he was going to be the first pick. He should have had something. See, you got to have something. Okay, I'll circle March 23rd and November 17th.
Yep.
Guess what? I'm going to see old Mr. Embiid. And we'll see after the end of the game, we'll see if he still thinks I can't play defense. Where my GOAT? I want my GOAT.
you want it back?
Yep, we going home.
You can take it home.
Now I got 4 picks.
Well, it's
That's so cute.
you realize it's the real GOAT. It's Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I met LeBron. I met a real GOAT before. Yeah, the real one, old LeBron James. Yeah.
You got to admit that Jordan jersey was cute. Huh?
No, he needed LeBron jersey on.
No, it's Jordan.
No mercy.
That's going to be it for us. We're off next week, but we will be back July 2nd here on FS1.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.